So in our preparation for the whole story, I'm speaking on the book of Mark, and I was getting ready and studying for it in Mark chapter 8. And the way the passage starts is that Jesus tells his disciples that he is going to go to the cross, that he's going to suffer, and that he's going to die at the hands of the chief priests and the elders. And Peter, it says, rebukes Jesus for that. Peter, who has just affirmed that Jesus is the Messiah, says, no, Jesus, you can't do that. This can't happen. We're gonna stop it from happening. Of course, Jesus in turn rebukes him and says, no, it's necessary that I must die. There's several things about this passage that are interesting to me, but one of the things is that Jesus says, I must die. That's what the text says. I must. It is an absolute necessity. Of course, we know on this end of what has happened that there's no salvation without the death of Christ. Peter was still wrestling, and the other disciples were still wrestling with all the ramifications of that and what it all meant. But we know he must die in order to provide our salvation. But what I wanted to mention to you this morning was that I was just reading in Acts chapter 2, and I came across this verse. Maybe you've read it before too, but Acts 2:22, Peter, now filled by the Holy Spirit from that moment at Pentecost when the Holy Spirit came down and indwelled all of the apostles and all of the Christ followers. Now Peter is preaching his very first sermon there in Jerusalem. And listen to what he says in Acts 2:22. Men of Israel, hear these words. Jesus of Nazareth, a man attested to you by God with mighty works and wonders and signs that God did through him in your midst, as you yourselves know. And here's verse 23. This Jesus delivered up according to the definite plan and foreknowledge of God, you crucified and killed. So here's Peter, just a few weeks earlier, maybe just a few months earlier, said, no, Jesus, this can't happen. Now says Jesus was delivered up by the definite plan and foreknowledge of God. Peter has come to understand the importance of the crucifixion and its necessity. But also I want you to notice this. Look at the working of the grace and power of God in Peter's life to bring him to that understanding, to draw him into the circle of understanding through the Holy Spirit now. This is the plan of God. My friends, this is the transformation that God can make in our lives. He opens our understanding. He opens our eyes so that we can share the truth with others. I hope that you can experience that in your life, that the Holy Spirit will open His Word to you so that not only you will understand it, but you will share it with others too.